James Kaufman, World News Report today. Wow, today is October 10th, 2024. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. I want to first give out a shout out to Dan, who's made it through the storm. We'll try to call him. I doubt he's going to answer. I told him to bail. He did text me today. And, hey, Donna Honey, God bless you. I like that name. A pretty smile, pretty smile. We're going to try to call Dan, our good friend, and see if Dan picks up. Let's see if we can call Dan. He just texted me. I have to get some juice on this. Dan was on the coast of Florida, and they stayed.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Dan. Hey, we're just going live here. No one's really on yet. I was scared for you, man. Do I have your permission to take you live for a couple seconds just so you can tell me how it was or what happened?
Yeah.
How was it, man? Tell me.
Tell me.
I was so fucking worried about you. You have no idea. Did you hear?
It was kind of scary. I mean, I won't lie. Thankfully, we didn't have any damage. We had maybe a tree or two down.
God. So y'all were too far north then, right? Did you see the 47 tornadoes?
There were 111 total in Florida.
Yeah, I think there were too. That's what I said. They quit reporting them at 4:58. So they were all on the East Coast. There was a system that formed in front of Milton, right? I pointed out the night before that it had an eye, and that's what caused all the tornadoes. And now tell me your experience.
My experience, you know what? I'm just glad I'm here. I guess that's all I can say. I'm very grateful that I'm here.
Would you leave next time or no?
Okay. That's a good talk. All right. If it was a Cat 2,
which is
yes,
would you get a Cat 1?
Yeah, we got a Cat 1. The highest gust was 80 something.
Oh, that's nothing, man. I used to stand outside with that.
These houses are very tiny and small, and they're all built in like the 70s and 80s, so it's not really hurricane proof.
Right.
So, I mean, the neighbors' houses took it worse. I mean, I'm looking at the neighbor's house right now, and, you know, a quarter up the front of the house is missing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm moving the microphone closer. So you got that lucky that a quarter of the neighbor's house is missing and y'all got no damage?
Right. It was like a shield.
You must be that shield. That's crazy. So did y'all?
I actually loved how, because we all said a prayer the other night, and thankfully it broke up. The eye broke up the minute it hit the shore, and thankfully, I mean, for the amount of damage that it did across Florida.
Oh gosh, did you see my video today?
I couldn't even imagine if that stayed a Cat 4 at landfall. I could not even imagine.
Do y'all have electricity?
Yep. We didn't lose power once.
Golly, this is a Christmas miracle.
Right.
I mean, I was like warning you the whole night while I was live. I warned him. So.
I listened to you last night and I heard, he even took Dan and his parents at the dinner table. That's like, I'm not going to chime in. I'm too tired.
Right. Well, hopefully if it gets any crazier than that, you guys know that y'all got very lucky, right?
Well, Mom wants me to ask you a favor.
Always for mom.
She wants to know if you can give her, because now she's like Miss Conspiracy Theorist, like queen now. And I have to tell her sometimes, I go, Mom, you can't. I go, it's already etched in stone. Just watch it. Just watch it play out. And I go, I know you're waking up, and I know you have so many questions. I'm like, I'll answer them for you, but I go, just chill out with the posts on Facebook.
Right. Chill, especially on Facebook. You're being watched.
I go, back away. Just watch it unfold. Just watch it unfold.
It's all as is written. It's easy. I'll answer anything your mom, if I can. I'm not going to act like I'm...
She was asking, she goes, has James looked at that other storm that's coming up? And I was like, not Nathan.
Alicia, or Leslie.
Yeah.
And it's really...
I'll check in with them. I haven't watched the weather. I'm like, I'm done looking at the weather for everything for a while.
So y'all were quite a bit north, it sounds like, from the eye, because it turned back into a hurricane when it got back in the Atlantic, and all of the tornadoes were south of you, from what I could tell, at least. Right?
Yeah.
Most of them?
Do you know where, well, you know where Daytona is on the map, right?
I mean, kinda, I know. It's not like I'm running your address or anything crazy, but...
Right on the East Coast, about 70 miles north of Cape
Canaveral?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're way up, almost to Jacksonville.
No. All right, so it goes...
You're about 150 miles south of Jacksonville.
There you go.
I know where you're at. Of course, so you got out easy this time. Tell Mom y'all got out easy. All right? I want you to know that. I'm about to do a space weather update. I hope you join us and chat and say howdy.
A friend of mine up in Ohio right now, and she sent me pictures of the Northern Lights. So if you guys are up north right now...
So everyone's sending pictures in. We've got 20 or 30 in right now. Y'all know we got a KP9. There's no other way to go. I'm showing you the chart right now on the screen. You can't get any higher, and that's the estimated planetary index, and that's the last 3 hours. And I'm going to show y'all that is only plasma at 20 centimeters cubed. Wouldn't even be a KP1 where I come from. Right? Dan knows. Remember how the X 9.15 and the X 7.6 did nothing, and then they were 7 days. Look to the left on this chart that I've got on my 124-inch monitor in front of me. They were what? They took 96 hours to get here. The first one, which is impossible, right, Dan? Let's face it.
That was kind of long, and I'm trying to remember back on that date when I did see it.
It was.
I didn't notice it.
I'm going to pull all that up for everybody next so y'all can see how ridiculous it is. And now they're trying to say that this took less than 24 hours to get here. So one takes 6 or 7 days, and then the next one takes less than 24 hours. I believe that the other one was probably Memorex, because the X 9.15 and X 7.6 would have wiped us out. The X 1.84, look what it's done to us. And remember, I wrote NOAA and NASA. I said, where's the proton storm? Where's the polar cap absorption event? You know, they both blocked me on Twitter, NOAA and NASA.
I think we did get up to an S2.
Actually, we're further than S2, sir. We're at S4 and G4.
We're at G4 right now.
Right, G4, and let me see what we'll get to in a bit. So S, Dan's talking about a solar storm. He's basically talking about a proton storm, okay? But for the X 7.6 and the 7.15, there was 0 proton storm. there was a little lift in the protons, but it never went past space weather threshold. Am I right, Dan?
That's correct.
Correct, but there wasn't, and that's why I wrote NASA know it, because the white particles, which are protons, they never appeared. And then you saw the signature it left on the D region absorption prediction center that made me almost throw up a little bit in my mouth. Right? Right? Y'all got so lucky, Dan, you have no idea.
I know. I felt the love. I really
Hey,
did.
it got below your 888. It went to 884. It's the lowest ever recorded in history of the world.
Oh, guess what? My son just texted me just now, and he sent me pictures of the aurora up in Boston.
We'll send them on in on World News Report today at gmail.com. We're going to show Aurora pictures at the end, guys. If anyone has Aurora pictures, obviously there's going to be auroras. The question is what caused it? And we're going to go over all that tonight. I just am so happy that Dan and his family are okay. I know all you guys are the same. Dan, you played with fire and you did not get burned. How's it feel?
It feels I can control it.
Never think that you can control Mother Nature.
I'm very grateful, and I've been in contact with a few people on the internet and stuff like that, and the power of prayer, guys, is unbelievable. If
you would have gotten hit by a 5 like I had, that's what I thought. At least 2-3 on yours. You said it was a 1, 80 mile per hour. That's nothing. Imagine 220.
Yeah, we'd be wiped off the map. I'd be gone.
You'd be out there floating, holding up your mom.
Yeah.
And Dad, well, that's a different story, but I could tell he wasn't going anywhere when I heard him in the background. I was scared shitless. I was like, yes, sir, Mr. Bate. But I could tell, and I'm
He's
so...
bummed out. He lost his favorite tree. So.
He lost his what, sir?
Favorite tree.
Well, that's the least that we can... You know that. You know that.
Hey, Dad.
That might have been a little message to him about next time. Because there will be a next time here. And I think Leslie's coming in right towards y'all right now. I'm going to cover that in a bit. For some reason, it stopped moving, which is wild. And now all the spaghetti models have it going right into Florida. If they can't stop y'all from voting one way, well, they'll stop it any way they can. Am I right or wrong?
Is that coming south to north?
It's coming from the Aleutian, Lesser Antilles, Aleutian or Alaska. Lesser Antilles, it's right outside the Lesser Antilles. It's stalled, but it regained hurricane strength, and it looks like it's coming right in. But hey, you got 3 or 4 days to worry about it, right?
That's right.
I showed the car dealerships, don't go buy a new car because those are all flooded too, right? So y'all got nothing. You better say a prayer and thank yourself, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Thank yourself because that was a serious situation. I'm so thankful to hear from you. When I got your text, I was so happy. And you even have AC and phone. I went without AC and phone. I was 130 miles from the impact on a 1. I went 7 days without AC and 102, 103 degree weather and no phone. My mother and father didn't even know if I was alive or not. So, y'all been blessed, right? So many people, and hopefully you're going to help them in one way or another with prayer. That's all you have, or with manpower. I know you're a strong person. A lot of people. Go ahead.
The woman who lost a quarter of her out. I mean,
I
And
s-
just seeing her heart so broken and crying, and she looks up at me and she says, you know, you're here for a reason. You know, I know it for a fact. You know, because if it wasn't for you, you know, I wouldn't be able to rebuild stuff like this. I was like, you know what? It made me feel so good. But now I'm saying to myself, oh boy, what did I get myself into? I go, I don't even know where to begin with this house.
Tiffany, do you see what I see? Look, honey, do you see the comment? Always negative. It's Honeybee again, crystal meth head herself. When you're dealing with a message genius, don't screw around. I've already been to your computer on my other computer. Now, I'm sorry, Dan. I just had to call her out, right?
Do what you gotta do.
Hey, you know what? It's sad that she would take what happened to you and make it a joke. She's going to have to answer for that. And hopefully,
Forgive and forget. Don't worry about it. It's
I tried that. It didn't work out.
not anymore. It's not.
It's like a wart that never goes away. So, Dan,
So, I mean, I have half the house tarped down. I mean, we have a little bit of winds right now. Nothing crazy, thankfully. But I just hope I can get some of it buttoned up to even prepare it if we do get another storm. So she stayed at our house last night through the storm. So she woke up with us to only walk out of our door to see her house. And she just stood in the street and just started crying. And it was really sad, you know.
I really do, because I know. Remember, my dad. They evacuated my home for Katrina, guys. I put gasoline because there was no gasoline from here to Mississippi. My dad had 2 3-story homes, 1 bed and breakfast. They were both built in the 1870s, 1880s. When we got there, I was kind of confused as to where we were, but my dad knew, and National Guard was everywhere. They made sure his driver's license to get on to Beach Boulevard. And my dad, I never thought I'd see my dad cry because he's just heavyweight boxer, LSU. I mean, he started bawling. It's because him and my mom have been together since they were 12, and both their homes were. I didn't even know we were in front of the homes. And I'd been there 1,000 times. All my trophies, all my everything. And it's not about me. Nothing. They found the roof 5 miles north. And, you know, luckily I was there with him. Luckily, people tried to steal our gas. Luckily, we were both armed. But to watch my father... He'd been dating my mother and still is with my mother since they were 12 years old. See that and he didn't care about the house. Okay, guys, you'll have to understand, no one cares about the fucking house. They care about all those pictures. There's no more pictures, right?
Memories, yeah.
All the memories, all of the wedding, all of the everything, all of their baby pictures, all of everything was GON. They took little plastics. They took their birth certificate, their main stuff, you know. And I let them come into my house when I had a big house, and no problem. I didn't complain. I had a big Jeep at the time, and we put gas on top. And when I got near the beach, about 5 miles from the beach, there were I call them Army checkpoints. I guess they're National Guard. And his license said Beach Boulevard. And they just looked down. They looked down. I was like, what does that mean, Dad? He's like, I don't know. Keep going, son. So when we got to the beach, there was nothing. So that's why I didn't realize we were in front of the 2 mansions that we owned. There was nothing left, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing left. And then my dad broke out in tears. And I had to hug him. I was like, Dad, what's wrong? What's wrong? It's okay. It's just a house. He's like, it's more than a house, James. You don't understand. And he was so much more concerned with, it's more than a house. They had moved everything from their whole relationship and our upbringings, me and my sister's upbringing. And it's the only time he's ever broken down that I've ever seen. He's a mean fucker. Heavyweight champion for 3 years at LSU. You don't want to fight him. I don't even want to.
He's a big teddy bear now, so his fighting days are over.
Well,
I just sent you 3 pictures from Boston, Aurora.
All right. Well, Dan, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I hope you stick through the space weather. This is, I guess, the most severe storm we've ever seen. Can I go that far?
I don't think it is.
Well, according to the KP index, which I showed y'all earlier if you watched my reports.
I don't rely on the models. I rely on people who see it in the sky, and that should tell you how intense the intensity of it.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that red is not aurora borealis. Red is a sprite. Green and blue. I had to explain this to you, I remember. Green and blue is aurora borealis, which all of its radiation, none of it's not red. You're right, right? Remember, I got on you for that. But it's all radiation, right?
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, go outside.
Let's go play in the radiation."
They don't know what's raining down on you. They don't tell you.
Just being, and I've taught y'all about hot flights. Just being in a plane on a normal day at 35,000 feet, which is about 7 miles above sea level.
People will lose their minds at that altitude with that much radiation.
Well, that's why pilots and stewardesses have 100 to 1 times more percentage chance of cancer than we do. It's 100 times. Let me show you what a hot flight is, just so we all are on the same level here, right? Hot flight. So, just a flight at 35,000 feet, when you can't see the plane, and they say when the ISS passed over me, Dan, it looks like 10 football fields so big. I'm like, what in the fuck? And when the plane from IHS, Bush Intercontinental, comes over, we're going to have to type in hot radiation flight because, of course, what is it called? It's called Google Chrome. Facts about radiation hot flights. Rides on a plane. How many times have I showed y'all? Dan knows. So look, these are rides on a plane. I'm going to make this a little smaller so everyone can see. I don't know how I got up to be that. But look, just regular JetBlue flights, FlexJet flights, Southwestern flights. I want to show y'all 74 times the radiation at sea level, not percent more. That'd be 174%. It's 74, look, times the sea level. So if the sea level is 10 rads, that's 740 rads. If you know what a rad is even, right? And then you can go right back through them. These are just Southwest flights, and they're all between 45, about 8 to 7 miles up. There's no way we went to the moon. I'll just continue on that.
I was waiting for that. I was just waiting for that.
I can't stop myself. At least my dad finally admitted it. Do you know, Dan, that they've discovered a third Van Allen belt?
They discovered what? Say that again?
A third Van Allen belt. A third one. And they're both 35,000 degrees Celsius, which is 75,000 degrees Fahrenheit. it's kind of silly to even talk about it at this point, but I wanted to show you what a hot flight is. Dan knows. He's been here as long as anybody, right? I want to say, everybody give Dan a thumbs up for calling in, and first off, for making it. You went against my better judgment, and I think you got lucky, and maybe a little bit of God's will as well. Right?
Yeah, I'll take number 2 on that one.
I hear that, man. I'm guessing there's people even north of you that had a worse time, sir.
Yes. Even the town I live in, it's beyond imaginable how we got scathed, and the rest of the neighborhood is just, it's in shambles. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say total shambles, but there's a lot of water. At about 15 and a half inches of rain.
Well, Dan, I want to say, tell your mom and your father I have lots of love for your family and you. And if they ever need anything from me that I can do with my channel or any other way I can do it, all you have to do is ask me, okay?
Thanks, well, brother. I appreciate it.
Lots of love out there. I want everyone to thank God for Dan. I was so worried about you. I wish you would answer last night, but that's cool. A good thing you didn't put that $2,000 camera out there like you asked me.
I know. I was thinking about it, though. I definitely was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I can't afford to buy another one. What if this thing gets toast?
If it was only Cat 1, you might have gotten away with it. But I would have guessed much stronger. We're going to go into the space weather, but I want everyone to thank Dan. Thumbs up for Dan. He made it through. He is the Omega. You finish it off for me, sir.
Alpha.
Alpha and Omega. I mean, excuse me.
In my eyes.
And he's at some level,
Yeah.
you
It
know.
feels good, though. It's a good feeling.
I'm so glad that, I love Mama Bates. So I'm glad that everything worked out, right? I could tell Dad was not going anywhere. I could tell by that deep voice.
Edna Armstrong knows what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, hey, God bless you, sir. And hey, you're always welcome to call in. And thank God y'all made it unscathed. Let's go into the space weather report, and we'll talk about it after that. Dan?
Sounds good. You guys take care. God bless. And anything is possible in the sorrow world.
We got another one coming your way. I don't want to tell you about it.